Alright guys, what's up? Here I am leaving work. And I apologize, first and foremost if there is a bit of a shake to the video. My car has a bit of a shuddering vibration, especially when idling right now. I'm going to go get checked out tomorrow when I have a day free. Not important, just wanted to get out of the head of that and let you guys know. I shot a video yesterday morning on my way to work, and then was shooting another one on the way home, kind of a little follow-up, hitting a few points I totally forgot to mention, and kind of just transitioned into rambling off of what I had mentioned, which is fine. But that second video, for whatever reason, cut off on me, so when I looked down to stop it, when I was finished, it was had already stopped recording, so I don't know when it ended. And when I closed that out, for some reason it closed out my video from the morning that was still trying to upload, because I posted it, but where I work, I have to keep my phone in the locker all day in the middle of the building where there's no signal anyway, so it can't upload until I leave. So it was barely even uploaded, barely even started to upload. So it was finally starting to get going on that. I was on my way home, and it, for whatever reason, cut that. But they're both actually saved into my photo library on my phone, so I'll do that later. And this one will be a bit of a follow-up. But in the original video, I was talking about generational conflicts and wars around the world, and how it relates to us, and how we can see what's going on here, and how there's no way you can't believe things won't get worse here, and how they won't be worse for a long time. How? I don't think anyone really believes we can reverse what's happening. There's no way to change hearts and minds of the other side, whichever that side that is for you. There's no way. We're so polar opposites now, and we hate each other so much. And the young people have been, for lack of a better term, brainwashed. This is what they believe, this is what they believe. So you have the left, and the extreme leftists, which are mainly younger people, in my age group. The only people I'm really prejudiced against, stupid young people. Otherwise, make my people look bad, and that's all you do. You drive me nuts. Anyway, I'm going to go off on a tangent if I keep talking about that. So, but the point was generational issues, generation wars. Look at cultures and nations around the globe, and the history just over the past 100 years. I landed on Ireland, but I listed off all the nations I can think of off the top of my head. Obviously, you have the Balkans, Slavic territories, Serbia, Bosnia, Chechnya, parts of Georgia, the nation of Georgia, South Africa, much of Asia, particularly Burma, which look how long that's been going on, and things are finally settling down there, at least for right now, over the past few years. Venezuela, Argentina, Chile. I mean, a whole lot of main continental Africa. I mean, it's just, you can't. And now it's happening here. And then you have Scotland, Ireland, mainly Ireland. Scotland, that was hundreds of years ago. Then they linked up full on with the UK, and they've been kind of reluctant buddies since. And they're like, yeah, we hate them too, and we agree with you, Ireland, but you know what? It's better for us. It's more beneficial more advantageous to be friendly towards them. They're cowards. Scotland is like the Texas of the UK. They're always wanting to succeed. About every 10, 15 years, they really try to. And this last attempt, they did to some degree. I'm not even going to try and get into that. But they had some success. And that was really spurred by about a year before that. A huge natural oil deposit was found off the Scottish coast in the North Sea, almost into international waters, but the British government was like, that's all of us. You're part of the UK, you're part of Britain, that's all of us. It was in Scottish waters. But whatever. So that kind of pissed them off. And then Ireland, you have almost 900 years of issues there, of tensions there with Britain. And then by the 1850s, it turned into Irish on Irish, because you had the Irish that supported and agreed with the British going against the Irish nationalists. And then in the 1850s, you had British affiliated militant groups, volunteer groups, rise up, and they created a covenant, a paper covenant in writing that pretty much effectively said any Catholic, you see any Catholic, you kill on sight. They're evil. And that was brought upon by a whole lot of prior issues they had over the previous decades. Not long before. And then the nationalists and Catholics, the Republicans, the conservatives, whatever label you want to give them, they reacted and responded accordingly with their own groups. You had the Irish Citizen Army, which after the Easter Rising of 1916, the rebellion, the ICA became the IRA. We've all heard of the IRA. But my point was, I landed on Ireland for a while because that's what I know most about, and I know a decent amount, at least enough to talk about it. It's an interest of mine. I like their modern history, but just talking about the past 100 years in Ireland, you can talk about that literally nonstop for probably 2 weeks and not cover it all. But landed on Ireland, I think, naturally because it's most like us. The modern issues known as the Troubles, or the Troubles of Northern Ireland, it began as riots among the people. And then one side started having a temper tantrum, and the other side of the people, the commoners, started reacting and started fighting back. And it turned into these huge gangs of New York style battles that became massacres. Because they had what they had, and a lot of these were in blue-collar working class areas, so they could get tools that were very effective weapons. They were all a lot of blue-collar folk. And all these different factions, again, whatever label you want to give to really the two main sides, they all fell into two different sides. The nationalists versus the British loyalists, or the royalists, or those that just see themselves as British, not Irish. But it started as riots, and then law enforcement was called in, military was called back in. And then that that turns into untrained people trying to learn the skills to trying to learn the skills through training, just very basic, minimal training, to put up a fight, a guerrilla war against the British, which they did very effectively. It doesn't take much. Guerrilla warfare is best suited for something like that, especially in cities. Guerrilla warfare is impossible to combat if you're the opposing force, if you're the occupying force. Again, especially in a city, guerrilla warfare is perfectly suited for a metropolitan environment, for an urban environment. And the best way to do that, especially if you are very untrained and you're fighting a superior force, is with hit-and-run tactics, shootings and bombings. Look how we're starting. And the hate is real. The hate is very strong. It is very massive. We are looking very much like Ireland pre-Troubles right now. Politicians got involved around the world and locally and funded and supported, secretly funded and supported the various factions, the two main sides. So, and we're seeing that here. I mean, it is not beyond the scope of possibility. It is not beyond the scope of reality as we know it in this country right now. It could happen. And again, it looks very much like it will. We look very similar to Ireland, Northern Ireland in 1964, 1965. Things started kicking off there in late 66, 67. We could learn a lot from looking at that. So all I'm saying is get ready, prepare. And because it will be brutal, there will be bombings. We're not fighting, and they're training themselves with the leftist little riot-throwing, temper tantrum kiddos. They don't know what they're doing. So they're going to learn a little bit, enough to effectively fight us, to fight the military, to fight the right, to fight whoever it is they choose to fight. How do you think that's going to happen? Something easy, very, very damaging, very, very effective. Hit-and-run tactics. Explosives, IEDs, right? Drive-bys. So, that's what's on my mind today.